Today, let's talk about plagiarism. Knowingly and intentionally committing plagiarism is clearly morally wrong. Nobody wants anything to do with plagiarism, and yet plagiarism cases are still relatively common in universities and colleges. So today we're going to talk about 5 simple and straightforward things that we can do in order to avoid problems with plagiarism. Paraphrase, cite and reference, carefully using direct quotes, consult with your professor concerning things that you are unsure about, and run some plagiarism checks yourself before submitting your paper. Let's take a closer look at these 5 things. Now first, let me show you how universities and colleges catch plagiarism. These days, students are required to submit their papers and dissertations digitally. Everything that is submitted automatically goes through some kind of plagiarism checking software. Here is a screenshot of the software that the university where I am currently employed at uses to catch plagiarized content. Look, if my paper contains any suspicious content, the software automatically highlights such content and shows the assessor the original source of the potentially plagiarized content. It also provides the URL link to the source document so that you can just click on it and view the source document as well. So chances are, if I did commit plagiarism by copying things from other sources, the software will catch it. But fortunately, avoiding plagiarism is not that difficult, so let's talk about how we can avoid problems with plagiarism. Number 1. Paraphrase. If in your writing you are using somebody else's opinions, claims, or research findings, as long as we are taking something from somebody else, whether it is a textbook or an article or a research paper, we should paraphrase it. Even if I am using something that I myself wrote in the past, I still should paraphrase it in order to avoid self-plagiarizing. So paraphrasing is very important. There are many good instructional videos on YouTube on how to paraphrase. I will link a few down below. So that is the first thing. Don't directly copy, don't cut and paste. Paraphrase. And after we have carefully paraphrased it, we cite and reference the original source. Even things that have been fully paraphrased need to be cited and referenced. So that is the second key thing here. Make sure we properly cite and reference. And be sure to use the correct referencing system that your faculty requires. Be it Harvard Business Style or APA or MLA, whatever it is required, cite and reference correctly and properly so that no one can accuse you of stealing somebody else's opinions. Thirdly, be careful with using direct quotes. It is certainly allowed to use direct quotes, but when we are quoting something, we need to put it in quotation marks and cite it and reference it as a direct quote. Generally speaking, we should only directly quote something if it has to be literally quoted, like a statement by a famous person or some kind of a tricky definition, or if we're quoting a particular passage from criminal law or something like that. So basically, only quote things which cannot be put differently. If it is something that can be paraphrased, well, then it probably should be paraphrased. Again, generally speaking, we would want to use as few direct quotes as possible. And that is because universities generally have an upper threshold for how much of your paper or dissertation can be direct quotes. So check the policy of your faculty. Maybe only 10% max of the main body of your paper can be direct quotes. Maybe 15%. It differs, but we need to know what that upper limit is and then stay below it. Just now, we looked at how plagiarism checking programs work and how these software programs are quite good at detecting duplications and potentially plagiarized content. In addition to such software programs, let's not forget, your paper will also be assessed by at least one human assessor. This human assessor may actually catch things which the software missed. For example, let's say in a particular paragraph, I took somebody else's opinion and I fully paraphrased it, but I didn't properly cite and reference. Now, such a paragraph would not show up in the software as plagiarism because it is not a duplication of any source document. However, a human assessor may still catch this. They might notice that I was clearly using someone else's opinions or claims, properly paraphrased, but I did not cite the source. So the human assessor might still likely consider this paragraph to be plagiarized because it would seem like that I was trying to pass somebody else's opinions as my own. So this can still lead to problems with plagiarism. This brings us to point number 4. Consult with your professor. If there is anything that you are unsure about, if there are certain sections in your paper, certain paragraphs about which you are not fully confident with regard to the way you wrote them and how you may have based them on prior literature, well, check with your professor. They can be very helpful in guiding you and advising you of what to do here. But here we need to be really careful though, because sometimes a draft version submitted for feedback purposes could potentially lead to plagiarism issues. In my university, the university where I am currently employed, this is not an issue. We are very clear here. If a student sends in a draft version to a professor only for feedback, not for assessment, then any potential plagiarism in that draft version would not officially count. Because it is not the final version of the paper officially submitted for assessment. It is a draft version for feedback. But again, this could differ per university, so be very careful here. Check the regulations and code of conduct of your university to be sure. The point here is that in general, it is a good idea to consult with your professor and ask for feedback. If there are things about which you are not very sure about in your paper concerning potential plagiarism, consider seeking feedback from your professors. Number 5. Before you finally submit your paper, run some plagiarism checks yourself on your paper. These days, there are plenty of free online plagiarism checkers. Let me be clear, these free online plagiarism checkers may not be as powerful or as thorough as the plagiarism checking software that your university uses. But still, you can run your paper through these online plagiarism checkers just to see what comes up. They might catch things that you may have missed. At the very least, you can use these online checkers to check the sections of your paper that you have some doubts about. And try a few different checkers. They are free anyway. Alright, to sum up, paraphrase, cite and reference, be careful with using direct quotes, consult with your professor concerning things you are unsure about, and run some plagiarism checking yourself before submitting your paper. Do these things. We should be relatively safe when it comes to plagiarism checks by the university. Now, if you have already been accused of plagiarism or other forms of academic misconduct, check out my other videos on plagiarism and academic misconduct hearings. Alright, thanks for watching this Random video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.